Hi there, I'm your host Nicole Scott from bnettv.com. Calgary has some claims to fame, the Red Mile and Stampede being the two that come to mind. But there is another, and I'm going to take the time to delve into the not-so-seedy underbelly of Calgary's theatre scene. For diversity and range, Calgary should not back down to other cosmopolitan centers, for it is beginning to come up into its own. Surprisingly, puppetry has a substantial scene, the Green Fools being one of the larger troupes. Contemporary dance also has a definite presence with Theatre Junction at the Grand. And Alberta Theatre Project always has a diverse lineup of more traditional plays. The Green Fools puppetry troupe put on an educational piece called Crossing the Mediterranean, which played at the Glenbow Museum. It was an interpretive program that brought the artifacts of the Greek and Egyptian exhibits to life. During the performance, 8 artifacts are tracked through the mythic tale of Isis and Osiris and the story of a simple artisan. The play provides a homogenization of art, theater, and the museum experience. Dean Barham, co-artistic director and co-founder, speaks with Michelle Sklar about the different styles of puppetry found in Crossing the Mediterranean.
And how do you bring together such a, I guess, an eclectic mix of people who know all of those different mediums, and then you have to, I mean, when you were doing the puppetry, it was so difficult to almost distinguish between the puppet and the actor.
Well, that's
and it was
goal.
Such a neat experience.
Yeah, that's the goal. We've had an amazing team of production team that helped us with this. All of us, like the thing about Green Fools, we're a creation-based company, so everyone who's involved takes part in all levels of creation. So, and in terms of like puppetry, well, you know, that's something we've been doing for 15 years, 16 years, and that's the focus. The idea is the actor gives the focus to the puppet, so that as an audience member you can check in with the actor to see the expression and what's going on, but you go back to the puppet, and the goal is that they will stop watching us,
right.
You know, as puppeteers. And the idea was that we, as sort of the chorus members, that's very Greek tragedy kind of a technique. The notion of the chorus that does the speaking and the in-between stuff. So we sort of adapted that technique with as a puppeteer technique. We like to call it puppetry out of the box. The notion of puppets aren't just restricted to small little stages, like we have the marionette stage in the show, and we also have a little like sort of Punch and Judy style stage. But we also have we can blow it out to life-size puppet. And the style of puppetry is kind of based on bunraku style puppetry, which is a Japanese form of puppetry. But they cover themselves in black, and it's like multiple puppeteers operating puppets. And Pythia, for example, she's very much a bunraku style puppet where you have 2 puppeteers. So we try to incorporate as many different kind of elements of puppeteering as we can, and I think it's just fun for an audience
right.
to sort of experience that and
right.
seeing a puppet change scale from small to big. You know.
The Green Fools definitely are a dynamic troupe, and their upcoming performance of Lady Cupcake's Urban Sprawl Cabaret Show on May 12th is definitely a different breed than the very informative Crossing the Mediterranean, as this upcoming show really demonstrates the troupe's diversity, as it promises to be dirty, sexy, and outrageous. Check out www.greenfools.com for more information. In the realm of contemporary dance, a venue that offers a complete night out is Theatre Junction at the Grand. We had the good fortune of catching their last performance, Unbound. For those of you who are unfamiliar with contemporary dance, it is a field more concerned with examining the choreographic and performing process. It draws on modern dance techniques developed in the first 60 years of the 20th century and an array of still developing philosophies of movement based on the study of the human body as well as the body and mind interrelationships. Unbound is an intense and stylish exploration of the ideals of beauty, power dynamics, and gender relationships. The performance centers around the Chinese tradition of foot binding and the tiny lotus shoes that were worn. The shoes are the cornerstone of the dance and a symbol of repression, beauty, longing, sensuality, and the tension in relationships. The dancers animate the stage with exciting acrobatics and slow it down to perform exquisite sexual entanglements. There is a sense of precision and vitality that is very compelling. Not centered around a story but on themes, Unbound causes reflection on the former Chinese practice of binding women's feet in pursuit of status and the impossible erotic ideal. Though its comments seem to point directly at the old Chinese tradition, it is also an apparent comment on the physical alterations that are made in today's society in pursuit of the same ideals. If contemporary dance piques your interest, Theatre Junction's upcoming performance is called Life is Good, which is a reflection of those things small, large, wonderful, heartbreaking, and challenging, which create the bouquet of taste that defines a life. Fusing the dynamics of contemporary dance with the intensity of the European physical theatre, Life is Good is an emotional depth and raw physicality. If you are looking for something a little more traditional, Eugene Strickland's production of Sitting on Paradise is playing at the Martha Cohen Theatre at the Epcot Centre until May 5th. The story revolves around Roy, a successful Calgary businessman who follows the advice of his spiritual guru and decides to develop his land into a new age retreat called Synchronicity Ridge. But to make this dream come true, Roy must win over his social climbing wife and wean her off her material possessions and tendencies, and also a few of her prized possessions. Here's a scene from the play.
Selling our things off in the bargain finder? What would our friends think, Roy?
I placed the ad.
Why would you do that?
So we can begin to live a rich, full life together.
This is a nightmare.
It's not a nightmare, it's just a bit of a change in our lives.
Change is never good. Nothing good ever comes of it.
If you resist change, if you fail to change yourself, then I agree it can be a difficult process. But if you're open to the journey, it can be life-affirming.
What the hell does all this have to do with selling our stuff off in the bargain finder?
You have to ask yourself, how many couches do we really need?
Several.
I don't agree.
Obviously not, but you asked me and that's how I feel.
I feel it's time to move on to something new, something unknown, to Synchronicity Ridge.
What in the name of God is that?
I've been talking about our development.
Oh, Roy.
It's where the future lies.
That's absurd.
Well, I'm looking for financing. It's only a matter of time.
I haven't agreed to go out and live in one of your cabins, not for a second.
Not in so many words.
Even if I had, why would you place an ad in the bargain finder without consulting me first?
I felt moved to act on your behalf, to break the cycle and free you from the yoke of material acquisition. I thought by focusing on a few key areas, I might shake things up and we can begin our spiritual journey together. Because whatever it might seem, it's not much fun alone. I'd like you to be with me, Dottie.
I see, I think.
With his unbelievable brio and trademark wit, Eugene Strickland's comic investigation into social status and materialism asks some hard questions about how much is enough. Director Bob White provides some insightful commentary on Sitting on Paradise.
So while it was a very, very funny play, and it's a comedy in many ways that satirizes consumerism and materialism and the acquisition of things, it also, I think, strikes to the core of some of the things that are going on in our city right now, where you have this enormous wealth coming in and people who have literally more money than they know what to do with. And given all of that, wonderful stuff that you can acquire, what does that mean to you as a human being, actually, and what do you take away from that? And at the end of the day, what do you need to be happy? Is it stuff, or is it your relationships, or is it trying to define who you are as a human being? So, as I said, although the play is a comedy, Eugene sprinkles all of these themes through the play, so I think it makes it a really rich theater experience as a result.
The comedic yet strikingly true-to-life play is definitely a reflection of Calgary today. I hope you found this exploration into Calgary's theater scene enlightening, and you will take the opportunity to look at its exciting, innovative, and strikingly cosmopolitan offerings. I'm Nicole Scott, and thank you for joining us. Check back on social TV for more updates from bnettv.com.